Errol Spence leaving the Terrence Crawford fight a little bit early before the post-fight interviews has been explained by none other than Errol Spence's trainer. Stay tuned to this video. I'll be back. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Not sure how you found my video on this beautiful platform, YouTube, but help others find the video by throwing a like on the video. It's free, it's quick, it's simple, it's painless, and it costs you nothing. So reach one, teach one, help others find the content. I want to talk about Derrick James, trainer of Errol Spence Jr. and, mentor, trainer. He did a recent interview, and he expressed why it was that Errol Spence ended up leaving the Terrence Crawford fight right after the knockout. A lot of people made a big to-do about this. I talked about it. I didn't make a big deal because I've covered boxing so long, you know what to look for. A lot of people want to do what I do. I've inspired a lot of people to do this. This is just a fact. And just with boxing coverage and talking boxing, getting a mic, anyone can physically go to Best Buy or whatever, get a mic and talk boxing, but not everyone knows what they're talking about. And I've noticed with the emergence of more and more podcasts and YouTube channels and just people covering and talking boxing is you got to be careful where you get your information from, because some people like over amplify or glorify really weird messages or narratives, and it's extremely weird. So when Errol Spence left, I didn't talk to him or anything, but in my mind, I knew exactly why he left and why he made that face. Because there was when Crawford knocked out Porter, he looked like he looked like almost puzzled, like he was watching it like squinting and watching on the Jumbotron, and he was just looking up like, what happened? And then he looked and seen the cameraman was like filming him, and he was just like, man, and this is the face you see on screen. He was just looking like that conceited meme, like, what was that? But for whatever reason, like a lot of people made this into this huge deal. Derrick James was caught at a fight, I think that Triller Triad fight or whatever, and he did an interview and he explained it. He says, one, Errol Spence was instructed to do that. He said, we told him to do that. You're at somebody else's show. You're going to be bombarded. You're just going out to check the fight. It's a person in your division. You're showing face, but you're not really there you're there to enjoy yourself and have a good time and then cut turf and enjoy the rest of your night. You know what I'm saying? And I understood that. He also said that Errol Spence was just almost, I'm just paraphrasing, you guys can watch the interview, but he basically said that Errol Spence was just almost confused or dumbfounded as to why Kenny even stopped the fight at that specific given moment. And he was just like, what was that? And ironically enough, the great Ego Stradamus strikes again. Although I hadn't talked to Derrick James or Errol Spence, this is exactly what I told you on my channel. I told you people were making this, huge deal like, oh, Errol, he's like, and it's insane. It's insanity what people do with their own two eyes. Like we're seeing the same fight. We're seeing the same Errol get up and move, and people's interpretations are so contrasting. It's crazy to me. It's crazy. Like I seen someone say Teofimo was winning versus Kambosos. It's weird, that we live in this social media age and digital age. We're all watching the same fight, Teo versus Kambosos, and different people seeing completely different things. Errol Spence, he's at the Sean Porter, Terrence Crawford fight, and he shows face, and somehow, some way, the spin doctors came through dripping and tried to infer or suggest that Errol Spence was like afraid of Terrence Crawford, so that's why he left. Like, it's just the weirdest concept. So I never understood it. I'm glad Derrick James got on a record and, said his piece from Team Spence. And it was really just the exact same thing that I said. At the end of the day, I was doing a Boxing Eagle watch party when the Crawford Porter fight was on. I was live. So the great thing about, I'm really happy that I invented. I know often imitated, never duplicated. A lot of people have been copying and whatever with the watch parties, but I'm so glad I created this for the channel and started covering the fights live, because I'm watching it for the first time just like y'all. So I don't know the conclusion. So it's a test and a testament to my ability to converse with boxing, because I don't know the outcome. It's just like watching a movie for the first time. Neither one of us knows what's going to happen. I mean, we can guess what the plot twist is going to be and who's going to do this and, who's going to survive at the end. But it's all, what you believe and what you're seeing in real time. And it's good to know that I'm on the right track with like stuff like the Errol Spence. But by doing the Boxing Eagle watch party, just like Errol Spence, I was really confused. And just for the record, this has nothing to do with the point I'm making. Not to get too sidetracked, but Errol Spence's eye looks cool, because I know people who have had the detached retina, and he must have went to a top specialist, because I don't see no lack. Because you have to understand, when you're wearing a patch, it can make your eye like lazy, because your eyes, this is your face, it's restricting it. You know what I'm saying? You can't see, you're not using your eyes on a daily basis, so you could have a droopy eye, a lazy eye, because at the end of the day, it's a muscle, and muscles pretty much atrophy if they're out of commission for so long. Like if you get in a car wreck and break your leg, you're going to have to pretty much learn how to walk again, depending on how bad the circumstance is. But with Errol Spence, this is just a random sidebar. His eyes look cool, because no offense, I would never make fun of somebody's potentially losing an eye or vision, but Abner Mares, I don't know if he can fight anymore, because when I see him on the telecast, when he's holding his mic, sometimes his eyes like drifting, and that's sometimes what can happen. So I get, each person's different. Each recovery is going to be different. Each person, the severity of it, different doctors or whatever. But Errol Spence, I'm very happy, because I would never want to see a fighter. Boxing's already hard enough taking the punches. But I've seen a couple of videos and pictures and stuff on social media, and he looked, put it this way. If he didn't have the Pacquiao fight scheduled, and he just did the surgery on the low and didn't tell nobody but family and friends, I don't think anyone would even know he had a surgery. The only reason we all knew about it is because the surgery prevented him from, in my opinion, knocking Pacquiao out, aka fighting Pacquiao. And that's the reason we all know that he had to have the surgery, because the fight was canceled as a result of it. So back to what I was saying. The good thing with the Boxing Eagle watch party, it's in real time. You get real reactions, etc. When Kenny Porter threw in the towel, it was a bit confusing. So I can only imagine Errol Spence and some of the spectators that were there live, what they were thinking. So people try to spin it like, oh, Errol's scared and weird stuff. He left and made this face and these things because it was weird and people didn't even understand why the fight was stopped. Sean Porter's a warrior. And he later said, Sean Porter said he was dedicating the fight to Marvin Hagler, and he had all that war gear on, like he was, paying respects to a fallen soldier in boxing, Marvin Hagler, and he's acquitted himself in the past of being a warrior. So let the man fight. And then Kenny Porter, had other plans. He knows his son. And the other thing Derrick James said is exactly what Kenny Porter said. He said before the fight, he knew he was going to throw in the towel. So, I'm not trying to take anything away from Terrence Crawford, But the way it all played out, I would be remiss to not be realistic with you guys and say that that does hurt the outcome. Like it's very hard for me to compare Shawn Porter that fought Errol Spence, pre-podcast Shawn Porter, pre-commentator Shawn Porter, right, to the version we've seen fought against Terrence Crawford. Now, Shawn Porter, he didn't look bad in the I thought he was doing pretty good. But the thing is, if you're checked out of boxing or you're on your commentator vibes or podcasting vibes or whatever, it's not about when you're doing good, because Shawn Porter was doing good. You know, I thought he was beating Crawford. It was competitive, but he was beating him. It's, are you willing to take it there? Because boxing, just like you look at Kambosos and Teofimo, if Kambosos didn't have the heart he had, Teofimo might have been able to get him out of there in rounds 9 or 10. But Kambosos was a man on fire and man determined. So if somebody like Shawn Porter knew he was retiring and has already talked to his dad about this plan of retirement and lived to fight another day, then I can understand why his dad threw in the towel at that given moment, because you know this ain't the, you know, you want your son to have all his faculties, and this is his last hurrah, his last fight. So as soon as it goes south, you're going to have an itchy trigger finger. And I think that's why Kenny Porter did that. Let me know how I did in this video. Errol Spence, it was explained why he left abruptly. People try to make up stories. Like, again, some of you guys don't have real world experience. If people are scary, you just don't go to the spot. If you're scared, if he was afraid of Terrence Crawford, no one told him to go to the fight. So I doubt if he was worried about his safety or a Crawford confrontation or whatever people think he left for. I'm pretty sure at the end of the day, if he was afraid of any of that, then he just wouldn't go. You know, it sounded like it was just a night out. He was keeping it low key. And I've seen fighters like that, you know. See, that's what I said. A lot of y'all don't have real world experience. So you just make up these stories that are favorable to you. You know, I've seen a lot of fighters. I've talked to fighters, and me as media, a bunch of media people will encroach that fighter, and they're like, not today. You know, I'm just here with the wife. I'm here with my kids. I'm here with my homies. We just watching the fight. We're not doing no interviews today. And it looked like those are the vibes, and it looked like the Kenny stopping the fight was a bit abrupt for most people. So he was just like, man, what was that? I'm out. That's what it looked like. So let me know how I did in this video, and I'm out. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster.